A small village in northern Kenya embraced a dense dark smudge that appeared in the sky in the hope that it would be a cloud saving them from the scorching heat of the sun. Little did they know that the cloud-like figure would bring them more grief and despair like never before. The terror began with the sheer size of the swarm of locusts, then came their insatiable appetite that nearly wiped out all flora in the area. The villagers tried to scare the creatures away by banging pots, but with no luck. The locusts remained adamant. It is said to be the worst locust outbreak in over 70 years that swept up all green life. These mobile creatures can travel up to 80 miles a day, with each swarm containing over 80 million adult locusts per square kilometer. They can eat the same amount of food each daily, that is equal to what 35,000 people eat. The swarm is said to have traveled from Somalia, Ethiopia, and into Kenya, and is still traveling southwards.
But some you could see, actually, especially when this goes into the vegetation, the fodder that livestock eat, those are actually directly hit, and you could see that. But we are going to have this report soon, and we'll release it.
Is it likely to be, how bad can it get?
Come again?
How bad can it get, Hamisi?
Well, this is a question. Okay, first, I need to explain something here. This locust actually is dependent so much on the weather. So this is going to depend on the weather condition of the place where they are. When this changes and the wind directions change, we are going to also see a change in the pattern of the desert locusts, the way they are going to move. Like now, the ones that were moving towards the west, maybe the areas of Baringo, we project that when the winds start moving upwards from the south now to the northern parts, maybe these swarms may find themselves going back towards Ethiopia, actually. Maybe a few crossing to southern Sudan. But this will definitely depend on the weather. So it may not be a very easy thing to say now.
Yeah. All right. My final question to you then is...
Yeah, but if weather were to be good for them, then we'd still be here for quite some time. Because also what we suspect, Yvonne, which I need to say, is that the swarms that crossed into Kenya were actually immature swarms that time. They were pink. But now when you go to the field, you see swarms that are already mature and they have turned yellow. So you suspect that these swarms may have copulated and laid eggs. So what therefore that means is that we could be grappling with eggs now on the ground, especially if they find their conducive environment, and this may hatch and we may be having a second generation.
Okay, Hamisi, just very quickly, what happens next? Kenyans are worried about the cost of food. In 30 seconds, what happens next with control and with also figuring out what happens after the damage has been assessed?
No, I mean, about the control, the government, FAO, and the agencies have very clear mechanisms that are already in place to hit this. Actually, there are already 4 bases that are set up by government plus FAO, which is going to work on that. But after this, we must do what we call assessment so that we can do livelihood recovery, because there will definitely be people that are going to be affected.
Indeed. Thank you very much.
Given how quickly locusts can denude an entire landscape, there's also fear that they pose a serious threat to large herbivores in Kenya. The national parks and conservancies where these herbivores roam, along with the predators hunting them, play a key role in Kenya's tourism industry, a major part of the country's economy. While the spraying can be effective in controlling the pests, locals are worried the chemicals will taint the water supply used for both drinking and washing, as well as for watering crops. There's no telling whether there will be another invasion, but for now, these creatures pose a great threat, and the best thing to do is to neutralize the threat.